I uncovered every secret from the last 30 years.
And I have given all the proofs of who was involved with Diddy. I have presented the videotape of Diddy's parties as evidence. Now no one can save Diddy and the other celebs. Jay-Z, all of them were Diddy's handlers. After watching the rest of the documentary, you'll understand everything.
Right now, a new discussion is spreading across the internet. And once again, it starts with 50 Cent. Because 50 Cent has just dropped another Netflix documentary, and this time the spotlight is once again on Diddy and Jay-Z. According to 50 Cent, this new documentary explores what he describes as a hidden side of the entertainment industry. A world of private parties, closed-door gatherings, and late-night events that allegedly happen far away from cameras. Inside the documentary, 50 Cent talks about secret meetings, invitation-only rooms, and private environments where only certain people were allowed inside. These were not normal celebrity events. These were exclusive spaces where conversations reportedly stayed inside the room. And according to 50 Cent, the same powerful names allegedly appeared again and again in those environments, including Diddy and Jay-Z. But this story didn't start today. Back on December 2nd, 2025, 50 Cent released the first Netflix documentary about Diddy, a 4-part series that quickly started major conversations across the hip-hop world. After that first documentary, 50 Cent released another follow-up project, continuing to talk about the private environments surrounding some of the most powerful figures in the industry. And now 50 Cent has returned once again with another documentary, bringing up even more questions about Diddy, Jay-Z, and the exclusive circles around them. But before we go deeper into everything 50 Cent says about Diddy and Jay-Z in this Netflix documentary, before going deeper into this video, make sure to like this video, subscribe our channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss any new updates like this. Now let's get back, because according to 50 Cent, the environments described in this documentary raise serious questions about private gatherings, hidden relationships, and the powerful circles surrounding Diddy and Jay-Z.
I am the fucking hardest hustler in the world. This is Savage Part 2. Don't tell me about shit. It's 2022 and I'm still a savage. Whatever I want, I get. Whatever I want, I fucking get.
As the documentary begins exploring the environment surrounding Diddy and Jay-Z, 50 Cent quickly directs attention toward the places the public rarely sees. Not the award shows, not the red carpets, and not the industry events where cameras are everywhere. Instead, the documentary focuses on what 50 Cent describes as private spaces where some of the most important interactions allegedly took place. According to the narrative presented in the documentary, many of these gatherings reportedly happened through private meetings held away from public attention. These were not events promoted online or parties that appeared in the celebrity news the next day. Instead, they were described as quiet meetings, arranged discreetly, where only a very limited number of individuals were invited. 50 Cent suggests that these meetings often happened inside exclusive rooms where access was carefully controlled. Timing was selective, invitations were limited, and the people allowed inside were usually individuals who already belonged to certain influential circles. These were not open gatherings where anyone in the entertainment industry could show up. According to the documentary, entry was tightly managed, and only selected guests were given access to these environments. Once inside those rooms, according to accounts mentioned in the documentary, conversations allegedly took place that insiders claim never left the room. There were no recordings, no official statements, and no public confirmation of what was discussed. Instead, these moments were remembered only by people who claimed to have been present, stories that insiders later talked about quietly, conversations shared privately among industry figures, but rarely spoken about publicly. Alongside these meetings, 50 Cent also describes a pattern of closed-door parties connected to the same environments. Unlike typical celebrity events, these were described as private gatherings with restricted entry. Invitations were selective, security often controlled access, and the guest list remained limited. According to the documentary's narrative, only familiar faces were regularly seen inside these gatherings. In fact, one of the most noticeable patterns mentioned by 50 Cent is that the same individuals reportedly appeared again and again in these private environments. The same names connected to different gatherings, the same faces moving through different exclusive spaces, and the same circles appearing repeatedly in multiple accounts shared by insiders. For 50 Cent, this repetition becomes one of the most important details highlighted in the documentary, Because in an industry where almost everything is documented, photos shared online, videos posted across social media, and celebrity appearances widely reported, these particular gatherings reportedly remained unusually quiet. According to the narrative explored in the documentary, many of these events were allegedly designed to stay undocumented. No cameras, no official guest lists, no public record that the gatherings even happened, which is why 50 Cent keeps returning to the same question throughout this section of the documentary. If these meetings were simply normal gatherings, if these parties were harmless private events, then why were they kept so carefully hidden from public view?
That claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother. So we're not even going to go there, with all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking. Thank you.
Because you listen, 7 years ago, I'd have been like, yo, did you hire somebody to kill Pac? But no, you do it like a journalist.
Yeah, no, I mean, we wouldn't even get into nonsense like that. You know what I'm saying? It's nonsense.
Which we never believed, by the way.
Yeah.
As the documentary continues, 50 Cent begins shifting the focus from where these gatherings allegedly happened to when they happened. According to 50 Cent, many of the environments connected to Diddy and Jay-Z did not operate during the public events that everyone could see. They did not take place during award shows, industry conferences, or the celebrity parties that filled social media feeds. Instead, the documentary suggests that many of these gatherings allegedly began after the official events had already ended, after the red carpets were finished, after the cameras were packed away, and after the public celebrations came to an end. According to 50 Cent, this was the moment when another type of gathering reportedly began, what the documentary describes as late-night environments operating far outside the public spotlight. These were not events promoted publicly. They were not parties where photographers waited outside. Instead, according to the narrative presented in the documentary, these were after-hours gatherings where only a small and carefully selected group of individuals were present. 50 Cent suggests that many of these gatherings reportedly took place in extremely private and exclusive locations. Luxury estates hidden away from busy areas, high-rise penthouses overlooking major cities, and in some cases, private luxury locations where access could be tightly controlled and outside attention was minimal. These environments allowed gatherings to happen in spaces where entry could be carefully managed and the presence of outsiders was unlikely. No crowds outside, no media coverage the next morning, and according to the documentary, very little documentation of what actually happened inside those spaces. In fact, one of the details emphasized by 50 Cent is that many of these moments were rarely documented at all. There were no photos appearing online the next day, no videos circulating on social media, no confirmed guest lists showing who attended. Instead, according to insiders mentioned in the documentary, many of these gatherings only existed through the memories of the people who claimed to have been present. Stories shared quietly, experiences remembered privately, and conversations that circulated inside the entertainment industry but rarely reached the public. Within these late-night environments, the documentary also introduces another theme that 50 Cent says insiders have talked about quietly for years: the idea of private romantic connections forming during these gatherings. According to the narrative presented in the documentary, some individuals reportedly form relationships that develop quietly within these exclusive after-hours spaces. Connections that insiders claim to notice. Associations that people within those circles allegedly talked about privately, but relationships that were never openly acknowledged in interviews or public appearances. Publicly, some of the individuals involved appeared distant from one another. They rarely appeared together at official events. They operated in separate professional circles. But according to the documentary's narrative, their private interactions may have looked very different behind closed doors. 50 Cent suggests that some of these relationships were intentionally kept separate from public image and branding, handled quietly, maintained privately, and never officially confirmed, which is why the documentary repeatedly returns to the same question. If these gatherings were simply private social events, if these relationships were completely normal, then why were so many of these connections never publicly acknowledged at all?
50 Cent has been working on this documentary for almost 2 years. The footage he has is insane. The people he got speaking about Diddy is ridiculous.
As the documentary moves deeper into the story, 50 Cent begins touching on another layer of conversations that have reportedly circulated quietly within the entertainment industry for years. Instead of presenting direct accusations, the documentary focuses on rumors, patterns, and discussions that insiders claim have been whispered about inside certain circles connected to Diddy and Jay-Z. According to the narrative explored in the documentary, rumors of certain relationships have occasionally raised quiet concerns among some observers within the industry. These conversations were not public scandals or official claims. Instead, they were described as private discussions shared among people who were allegedly present in some of the same environments that the documentary has been describing. Insiders reportedly spoke cautiously about situations they believed they had witnessed or heard about. These discussions often remained inside industry circles rather than appearing in public media coverage. One of the subjects that reportedly came up in those conversations involved age gap questions between powerful figures and younger individuals present in certain environments. According to 50 Cent, some observers privately questioned whether the dynamics inside those spaces were balanced. These concerns were rarely raised publicly. Instead, they were discussed quietly among insiders who felt uncertain about what they were seeing or hearing. The documentary suggests that these conversations sometimes created a sense of unease among individuals who were present but unsure about how to interpret the situations unfolding around them. According to the narrative presented in the documentary, some of these situations reportedly made certain insiders uncomfortable. People who attended private gatherings allegedly noticed interactions that they later questioned in private conversations with others inside the industry. However, those concerns rarely turned into public statements. Instead, the conversations remained inside the same circles where the events were happening, continuing to circulate quietly without becoming official accusations. Another theme explored in this part of the documentary is the idea that some personal relationships may have been kept separate from public image. According to 50 Cent, figures like Diddy and Jay-Z have built extremely powerful public identities. They are known globally as successful artists, influential businessmen, and cultural icons within hip-hop. But the documentary raises the possibility that the public persona presented to the world may not always reflect the full picture of private life. In many cases, celebrities carefully manage their public image. Interviews are controlled. Personal questions are often avoided, and certain aspects of life remain completely outside public discussion. According to the narrative explored in the documentary, this separation between public persona and private identity may explain why some rumored relationships were never openly addressed. Publicly, certain connections appeared non-existent. Privately, insiders allegedly suggested that those relationships might have existed in environments hidden from public view. The documentary suggests that significant effort may have been placed on maintaining secrecy around these situations. Questions were avoided, stories remained inside private conversations, and rumors rarely moved beyond the circles where they first appeared. For 50 Cent, this repeated pattern of secrecy becomes one of the central themes explored in the documentary. Because when certain stories continue appearing in quiet conversations, when insiders repeatedly mention similar situations, and when public narratives remain tightly controlled, it raises a question that the documentary keeps returning to. If everything happening behind the scenes was completely normal, then why was there such a strong effort to keep certain relationships and identities hidden from public view?
A lot of people say I'm doing this out of revenge because we've got beef. I won't deny it. Me and Diddy have had issues. We've been going at it since 2006. He blocked Mace from signing with me. I dissed him in a track. He launched the vodka line. I launched mine. It's been a back and forth for years. You know why he's so desperate to shut this film down? Because he knows we found things. Footage, phone calls, conversations he recorded himself, contracts, NDAs, real receipts. But Diddy ain't the only problem. He's just a symbol. This industry is full of people like him smiling in the spotlight while pulling strings and hurting people behind the scenes. I don't make things up.
As the documentary continues unfolding, 50 Cent begins expanding the conversation beyond just private gatherings and secret rooms. According to 50 Cent, the environments he describes may not have involved only a few individuals. Instead, the documentary suggests that a much wider network of influential celebrities may have been connected to the same private circles surrounding Diddy and Jay-Z. According to the narrative explored in the documentary, insiders have long spoken about alleged private connections between major celebrity figures who appear distant publicly but reportedly interacted within the same exclusive environments. These were not partnerships openly discussed in interviews or collaborations announced in the media. Instead, they were described as relationships that existed quietly behind the scenes. 50 Cent suggests that some of these interactions reportedly happened inside private spaces where powerful names were seen together away from the public spotlight. These could include invitation-only gatherings, exclusive parties, or small meetings where the guest list was extremely limited. Inside these environments, according to accounts referenced in the documentary, powerful names within the entertainment industry were occasionally seen moving within the same circles. Artists, executives, and influential figures from different areas of the industry allegedly appeared inside the same rooms. What makes these connections particularly interesting, according to 50 Cent, is the contrast between public distance and private familiarity. Publicly, many of these celebrities appeared to operate completely separately. They built their own brands, ran their own businesses, and rarely spoke about one another in interviews. In many cases, the public rarely saw them interact directly. But according to the narrative explored in the documentary, their private interactions may have looked very different behind closed doors. Insiders allegedly claim that some of these powerful figures appeared together repeatedly inside certain exclusive environments. The same names showing up at different gatherings. The same individuals appearing within the same social circles over time. Alongside these alleged connections, the documentary also revisits misconduct rumors that have circulated quietly within the entertainment industry for years. According to 50 Cent, some of these rumors were discussed privately among people inside the industry, but rarely reached the level of public scandal. Instead, they were described as stories that circulated quietly within certain circles without becoming major headlines. Some insiders allegedly described situations they believed took place behind closed doors inside private gatherings. These were moments that people claimed to have witnessed or heard about, but that rarely appeared in official reports or public interviews. Because of that, many of these stories remained unverified conversations shared privately among insiders. The documentary suggests that the lack of public discussion may be connected to the culture of the entertainment industry itself. The industry often relies on relationships, partnerships, and reputations. Artists depend on executives. Executives depend on investors and collaborators. And many careers depend on maintaining strong connections with influential figures. Because of this structure, speaking publicly about controversial topics involving powerful individuals can carry serious risks. Opportunities may disappear, relationships may be damaged, and careers can be affected. According to the narrative presented in the documentary, this environment may have created a situation where many of these rumors continued circulating quietly while rarely being addressed publicly. People talked privately, stories spread within industry circles. But very few individuals were willing to bring those conversations into the public spotlight. For 50 Cent, this long-standing silence becomes one of the central questions explored in the documentary. Because if powerful figures were allegedly connected to the same private environments, if insiders were already discussing rumors behind the scenes, and if stories continued circulating quietly for years, then why did the industry remain so silent about those conversations for so long?
Has been warning us about Jay-Z. Jay-Z has now had an official lawsuit. It's everywhere. It's now being talked about louder than ever. I guess, does that give you some peace to know that people are finally really questioning this man?
It's emboldening me. I spoke on Piers Morgan. I said that I had 3 victims that I've been working with, victims of the Carters, that were ready to come forward. This might help them feel a little more confident now. So this is great because he's been evading. But the thing is, everyone in the backdrop knew that he was the celebrity John Doe. Everybody knew that. They knew it when I did Piers Morgan.
Is Beyonce celebrity B?
I hope to God not. But she was around. And she's very... she's got enough on her plate. After everything that happened with the election and everything that's happening right now, I'm not going to dump on that woman. She got better fish to fry.
Well,
what I
look,
will say is that her husband, she knows exactly who he is.
yeah.
She knows. She knows.
Rihanna was trafficked to Def Jam.
She was an innocent baby when she came over here. And look
She
at
was
her now.
14 going on 15 years old. Flown over without parental supervision in a private plane by a man who was supposed to be a producer who auditioned her at 3 a.m. in the fucking morning in a hotel room. Auditioning at 3 a.m. in the morning, a 14-year-old girl. She was flown to another country. She was taken to Def Jam headquarters. She was left in a conference room alone with Sean Carter for nearly 6 hours alone with no parental supervision. Her father collected a $500,000 check. She has the fastest
Diddy isn't going down
deal
quietly.
in Def.
As the documentary continues unfolding, 50 Cent begins focusing on another pattern that insiders have allegedly noticed for years around powerful figures like Diddy and Jay-Z. According to 50 Cent, the story may not only be about individual gatherings or private parties, but about the small network of people who were reportedly present again and again in those environments. The documentary suggests that within the entertainment industry, there are often unspoken relationships between powerful individuals. These relationships are not always visible to the public. They are not announced in interviews, and they are rarely discussed openly in the media. Instead, they are connections that insiders may recognize privately, but that remain largely invisible to outside observers. According to the narrative explored in the documentary, many of these connections appear inside tight inner circles operating behind closed doors. These circles are often small, exclusive groups made up of individuals who already share influence within the industry. Invitations are limited, access is controlled, and the people inside those environments are often familiar with one another. These gatherings are not large celebrity events where hundreds of guests appear. Instead, they are described as smaller, more private environments where only selected individuals are allowed inside. According to 50 Cent, these exclusive spaces may include private meetings, invitation-only parties, or social environments where influential figures interact quietly away from public attention. One of the patterns highlighted in the documentary is that the same individuals reportedly appear repeatedly within these gatherings, the same names connected to different private events, the same faces showing up in multiple accounts shared by insiders, and the same people moving within the same social circles over long periods of time. For 50 Cent, this repetition becomes one of the most interesting details of the story, because in an industry as large as entertainment, where countless artists, executives, and celebrities exist, the appearance of the same small group of individuals inside exclusive environments suggests a much tighter network operating behind the scenes. Another idea explored in this section of the documentary is the concept of off-record relationships. According to the narrative presented, some connections between powerful figures allegedly exist outside the official narratives presented to the public. These relationships may not be acknowledged openly, but insiders claim they are quietly understood within certain industry circles. These associations are rarely discussed during interviews. They do not appear in official announcements, and when questions about certain connections arise publicly, the responses are often vague or avoided altogether. Because of that, these relationships often remain in a strange position. They are never officially confirmed, but they are also never clearly denied. Instead, they remain quietly maintained behind the scenes. According to 50 Cent, this silence surrounding these associations is one of the reasons the story continues attracting attention. Because when insiders repeatedly mention the same individuals appearing together in private environments, and when those connections remain unspoken publicly, it raises important questions. Why do these relationships remain off the record? Why are certain connections between powerful figures never openly addressed? And why do the same individuals continue appearing inside the same private circles while the public remains unaware of what is happening behind those closed doors?
How did you get that footage of Diddy?
I figured most journalists would not disclose their sources.
If Sean Combs watches this, what do you think he's going to feel?
Like, wow, this is amazing. I think he's going to say this is the best documentary I've seen in a long time. My favorite villain? I kind of like Diddy.
As the documentary continues to unfold, 50 Cent begins returning to a larger question that has followed this story since the very beginning. According to 50 Cent, the conversations surrounding Diddy and Jay-Z did not suddenly appear with this newest documentary. Instead, they have been building over time, especially since the earlier documentaries first introduced these discussions to the public. Back on December 2nd, 2025, 50 Cent released the first Netflix documentary about Diddy, a series that immediately sparked massive attention within the hip-hop community and the entertainment industry. That project raised questions about private environments, exclusive gatherings, and the powerful circles surrounding some of the biggest names in music. But according to 50 Cent, that first documentary did not close the story. Instead, it opened the door to even more questions. Questions about the individuals present at those gatherings. Questions about the relationships connecting powerful figures behind the scenes. And questions about the networks operating quietly inside the entertainment industry. Now, in this latest documentary, 50 Cent revisits those same conversations and explores the idea that some of these connections may involve hidden alliances between influential figures. According to the narrative presented, the entertainment industry is often built on relationships that operate quietly behind the scenes. Publicly, many powerful individuals appear separate from one another. They run different companies, represent different brands, and sometimes even appear to compete with each other in the public eye. However, according to the documentary, those same figures may still share private environments where their paths continue to cross. These environments may include invitation-only gatherings, private meetings, or exclusive events where powerful individuals interact without the presence of cameras or media attention. According to 50 Cent, insiders have sometimes described these interactions as examples of behind-the-scenes coordination within the entertainment industry. Publicly, certain figures may appear completely independent, but privately, their relationships may continue through shared networks and overlapping circles of influence. The documentary suggests that these overlapping networks of powerful figures may help explain why certain stories connected to these environments continued circulating for years. Over time, rumors began appearing within industry conversations. Stories were shared quietly among insiders. Questions were raised about certain events and the people connected to them. But according to 50 Cent, many of these accusations and rumors never completely disappeared. Instead, they would briefly surface, attract attention for a short time, and then slowly fade from the public conversation. Yet inside the industry, the discussions often continued. People still talk privately about the same gatherings. The same individuals were still mentioned in connection with certain environments, and the same questions continued to appear in quiet conversations behind the scenes. For 50 Cent, this pattern is one of the reasons the story continues today. Because even after the earlier documentaries were released, many of the original questions remained unanswered. Questions about the environments insiders described, questions about the connections between powerful figures, and questions about why certain rumors continued circulating quietly without ever being fully addressed publicly. According to 50 Cent, the release of this new documentary is not meant to close the story. Instead, he presents it as another chapter in an ongoing conversation.